Hey, RMP faithful, this is Over Easy Stevie, and I would like to thank you for listening to RMP Radio, where pro wrestling is elevated.
RMP Radio is back on the air. Hi, I am your host, Mr. Fourth Row, and joining me on this edition of RMP Radio, I've got Miss Gemini. Gem, how are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing so good. Thank you for asking.
So, like we do here on RMP Radio, we get to kind of know a little bit more about what the interests, the hobbies, the things that the wrestlers like to do outside of the wrestling ring. Like I say, we get to know the person behind the wrestler. And one thing that really kind of fascinated me, doing little pre-production stuff with you, is you like to put together the computers, do building of computers. What kind of started the interest in that?
Oh, wow. Okay, so yeah, I've built only 2 PCs in my life by myself, so I'm not super skilled yet. I do know a lot more than the average person, but I definitely am not an expert. So I started, I want to say in high school. I had a group of friends. We all like to play games, consoles. One of them had already built a computer. So he had helped the rest of us build our computers, and even helped me build my very first one. And little by little, I got to learn what every part does and what I need and what don't I need, so that I didn't have to spend an insane amount of money on a gaming PC and could just put exactly what I needed for the time in my own computer, and I got to make it look how I wanted it to look, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. However, I love playing games. I am continuously bad at them, but you know what? We're just like my catchphrase. We get good. We're on the we're on the path.
What was it that you were focusing on those 2 builds that you did? Was it just was it the gaming and like you said, kind of, it sounded like maybe you were trying to do a little budget gaming computer?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was a budget PC where I can run a couple of games. I did Call of Duty was not out or super big yet. On PC. So I didn't have something. I didn't play much Fortnite on my PC, so I didn't need that much space. And I was trying to make it work for the games I did want to play, and the games that I did want to play with my friends. So it was all in my budget, and we made it look adorable. And now I have a new one. The second one was kind of just like, all right, let's see if I could do it entirely by myself. Mm-hmm. And the second one was still around the same budget. I've slowly been upgrading it. But as starting my journey as doing this by myself, I have run into a couple of problems, but you know what? We fix them. I asked for help. I'm not super snobby about it. I'm just like, yeah. Actually, Jumbo Zamore has helped me a couple of times when my PC has not been cooperating. So I'm grateful.
So gotta ask, how much time difference was between the version 1 and the version 2 per se of the builds?
So I built this one. It was a pandemic build. The first one I built when I was 16, 17.
Okay.
So I'm 21 now. So quick math. So
Oh.
20, 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you
Well, I
find
guess it was 3 years. Yeah.
okay. Did you find you said it was the same basically the same price, but as technology gets better, you can always get better technology for the same price. Did you find that was the case when you built the second one?
Yeah, definitely. I found that I did build this computer right before prices skyrocketed
Mm-hmm.
uh, for uh, for the parts in my computer.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy I jumped on it when I did. My computer parts aren't that new. However, it is my little baby. I went onto PC Part Picker, tried my best into matching things, and it would have failed miserably, maybe, but luckily it didn't. So it was all compatible.
That's fantastic. So you did kind of mention there a little bit. So you're into video gaming. Do you is it mostly PC, or do you do some console, mobile, other as well?
Yeah, of course. So I do love my PC because I did build it. I play on the Switch as well, and I also have a PlayStation, the PS4. So every now and then, me and my brother will hop on. We'll play some Madden. We'll get on there. We have WWE 2K. I think we have 2K. I think we have the new one too. I'm really bad. I'm really bad at that, but it's fun because I can do it in real life. So I'm just like, yeah, whatever. you know. But I play a lot on my computer only because I can cross play and play with my brother who's playing in the living room. I play on the Switch a lot of Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon Unite. I've been going off on that. I love that game. Pokemon Unite, love it. And then sometimes when I'm just trying to relax, I wasn't an Animal Crossing person, but I am a Pokemon Snap person. Still relaxing games. You don't have to do much, but it's just casual. I can go for some casual games too. Some of the games I want to play on my PC and stream soon will be Skyrim, because growing up I just never got it. I've watched a lot of Let's Plays, so I know a lot about it, but I've just never sat down and play it. So finally, after this many years, it is time.
So it almost sounds like you have a variety of interest in the games, and you kind of almost tailor. I'm going to use this system to do casual gaming. I'm going to do this system for the hardcore, first person type games, and this for the sports games. It really sounds like that you do that. Do you agree with that? Do you find yourself just subconsciously doing that?
I guess now that you put it, yeah. However, on the most hardcore first-person game that I like playing, and not that other people want to make me play, is really just Star Wars Battlefront. It's not that hardcore. So
yeah,
I typically like to keep my games a little tame, mostly because I don't always want to be panicking, In high school, I did play some Counter-Strike. I did always, do those first-person shooter games. I never got good, but we're trying.
That's true.
I do appreciate that I could take my Switch when I am on tour or traveling, and I get really bored in airports, so. It's my Switch saves my life.
I was gonna say, I just was gonna ask, is it a lifesaver? Because just trying to eat up the time, consume the time, that otherwise would be lost.
Yeah, definitely. And then the Switch, I'm so happy because it has you can have those casual tame games, but also have any other game on there. I have Dead by Daylight on there that I love playing. but also, if I need to, I could bust out Just Dance. We don't know.
That's great. So another thing that the RMP radio listeners might be fascinated to learn, and we've had a few people already in the past catalog that do this too. But you told me that you're learning to play the bass.
Yeah,
What piqued your interest there?
I say learning because I don't like saying that I know how to play the bass, because I when I first got it, I was in a punk band, so there's not much skill that goes into bass playing in my punk band. So it was the same like same 3-chord progression. Like it was not anything crazy. I was in a couple bands in my youth. Very happy I got to do that. However, was it any good and did we get anywhere? No, but it was fun.
Tell the listeners about that. I mean, what kind of groups did you form? What kind of music did you guys do?
Yeah, so the I've only been in 2 bands.
Okay.
However, I remember the first time I performed with somebody was my friend's band needed somebody, so I was like, yeah, I'll learn 2 of your songs the day of to perform them tonight, and we'll see how it goes. They let me hop on, and it was a lot of fun. It was just a couple of like punk songs that I had already known, so it was a little easier to play and sing. And I got to perform with them, and it was a really good memory I hold dear to my heart. However, I didn't really play much after that. I didn't really join their band. I was like, nah, that's their thing. So eventually I met a couple of friends outside of my high school who wanted to be in a band, and we would just meet up. We would, as we would say, we would meet up and jam and just try to do something with the band. The first one never really got off. The second one, we had a name. It was a little inappropriate because we were high schoolers and it was punk. However, and we did get to make a couple of songs. We didn't get to perform, unfortunately, for that second band, but it's still fun saying I've been in a band.
Yeah. Well, I have another good friend. He's a musician. He has a band. So shout out to the Bleacher Bum Band in Chicago. And when you talk about jam sessions, sometimes there's a lot of great things that can come out of a jam session, and just because it's quote unquote another name, it could be just a practice because you guys want to try to work. You want to try to work on something. You want to see if you can make a song kind of go play a different way, things of that nature. So there's nothing wrong about having jam sessions in my opinion. So
I'm really grateful that I got at least one song to be made into real life, though we didn't get to perform it. I had written the lyrics to it. We all worked on the chords and how it would sound.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. They're amazing people. I haven't seen them in quite some time, so probably after this I'll be like, what are they up to?
Well, and listeners of the podcast here, they do know that we've had some guests, like I said, that are musicians. Most notably, background in that. Most notably, Over Easy Stevie, of course, coming back to the RMP family here in a short little while. So, maybe there's a little thought. Maybe we can get a RMP house band together.
That sounds amazing. Yeah.
I bet he would be up for that.
I would be up for that as long as nobody judges my my lack of practice. Then yeah, I'm more than happy.
Well, yeah, honestly, it can't be worse than some of the other previous wrestlers that we've seen play musical instruments here and there. So So
actually, this brings a little known fact, but. I know I had mentioned I worked for In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah.
we would have like festivals thrown for our regions,
Uh-huh.
and it was this huge event, free food, everything was free, and it was all just for the workers. It was We were all really grateful. But the CEO, Lindsay Snyder, would come out and she would play like just hard rock music, and it was just very funny to watch someone who was so corporate
Yeah.
go out there and just jam out.
I can imagine. Yeah, because you like I said, it's a preconceived notion that they're going to be all straight laced and not have this
Yeah.
other the opposite side to them. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, we all got our multiple sides, you know. I could be throwing people, but I also could be out dancing. You know, we don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what this show is all about, is to explore that, without people having outside interests, I wouldn't be doing this podcast. So, and
Yeah.
it wouldn't have gotten created, years ago too. So I'm thankful for that. Beyond that, learning the bass and things like that. You grew up doing a lot of extracurricular activities. Combat sports that kind of helped lead you into wrestling, theatrical things like that. What else kind of interesting things have you done in your life when it comes to that kind of stuff that the listeners might be fascinated to know?
Yeah, buckle in, boys. All right. No, uh, so elementary school was very much just jujitsu and just acting. I was a part of like an after school program. So for 1 year, I did a knitting club. So I know how to make a scarf. However, I didn't go on the last day, so I don't know how to finish it.
Oh no.
I also went into middle school. I did scrapbooking. I guess I now know how to organize. I think high school is when I got really crazy. Okay, I'm like trying to remember everything. I Freshman year was really just my I did volleyball. My best friend, who is 6'2" and has always been really, really tall, was in volleyball, and I also got in as libero. And it just wasn't really my thing because I was still trying a bunch of stuff out. Oh my God, I completely skipped over. In middle school, I did track, I did soccer. I went to high school, did volleyball. I did French for 5 years now, 5.5 years now. I am a little out of practice, but I can do it conversationally, so I'm still okay with it.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
So I did academic decathlon, mock trial. I was president of the math club. Yet I can't do quick math.
Oh no.
Let's see. Jeez, so many things. I loved doing the morning announcements on my senior year.
Yeah.
I did vet class, which was, I was fortunate enough, they actually had like a vet there to bring in the animals from our community. So I would give them shots. I would, groom them, and I'm happy to have learned that. I was in a video game design class. I made one video game that was really bad. However, it kind of works. And if I end up finding that teacher again, we might have a Gemini video game. So
That would be fun. I really, if you were curious, when I really went down the aisle when you did the school announcements, I did that too back in high school. But I'm a few years older than you, so our system that we had was VHS, and we had to pre-record it ahead of time, and then it would go to all the go out to all the classrooms, and I would suspect by the time that you were doing it was maybe a live broadcast, or you guys actually had better cameras and better audio video equipment that we had.
Yeah, it was a live broadcast. I'm like, you don't have to remind me on how young I am. No, yeah, that was a lot of fun because there were a couple of times like around people's birthdays or Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
where I would just have people who would come into the room where I was broadcasting and just try to like shout out somebody and just try to make like these grand gestures for people, and I always thought that was so sweet. So I lived for that.
Yeah, the great things and the pitfalls of being live, as they say.
Yes, live. Now we know live stuff is both amazing, but also botches. They happen.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it is live stuff, but yeah. So aside from that, I did a lot of dance. I did ballet. I did, and this was like when I first got into college too. So I did ballet. I did jazz. I did hip hop. I did tap. I tried to do a folklorico class, which is Latin dancing with the dresses, is as best as I can describe it.
Uh-huh.
But the class got canceled, and I was very sad about it.
Oh.
So any chance I get, I love to go dance to any type of music, like anything. If it's live, it's better. But I love to dance, so I can be like listening to ska and dancing to that, skanking in the pit, or I can listen to cumbias live, banda, wherever. I can listen to hip hop, dance there, dance at a club, whatever. I can listen to heavy metal and pit. I'm everywhere. As long as I can move and groove to it, I will.
Yeah. Do you when you say live music and stuff like that, is I'm going to just ask you. So is what's kind of your favorite? Is it like a well-known artist, or just some house band at some restaurant that you may be visiting?
Oh wow, that is a good question. I think they're two very different experiences,
Okay.
and I love them. I feel like when you are in somewhere that's like a popular band or a well-known band, since there's so many people, the energy in the room is just really heightened, and everybody is having a great time regardless of if you are dancing or not. So it's always fun to go to shows that that are popular bands, and of course you probably would know the music too.
Yeah.
Whenever I see a band that I don't know, and it's maybe small, maybe it's in like a random pizza place, I still really adore that. It's just the getting to hear these people in such an intimate space.
Yeah.
is makes me feel like, let me find the right word, I guess grateful. Like I'm happy to have heard this new band, and I every time I listen to a new band, whatever genre it may be, I dive into the rest of the local bands that are in that genre, and then I make a random playlist of all these things, and I usually label it like influenced by, and then that band.
Ah.
So I have a wide music taste, so my Spotify wrap up is very confusing. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, that's great. So I would imagine another thing too that you're joint a lot with the wrestling career, and it just kind of goes hand in hand is the traveling. Is there anything in particular that you like to do while you're traveling? Any specific types of destinations or sightseeing or things of that nature that you like to do?
Yeah, so when I went to Seattle for the first time, I found something that works amazing for myself. It's landing at an absurdly early time and taking the metro or walking to the tourist sites because they are completely empty.
Oh.
Like, I got to have my own. I set my phone up and got to take like a huge whatever personal photo shoot in front of the gum wall in Seattle. You know, like these places that are usually super busy are like dead empty, and I really love that. And so by the time the coffee shops opened, I had already, walked and worked up an appetite. So I would go have coffee in the morning, Eventually, by the time um, other people would start landing or getting there to the show, or, check-in times, I would end up going to make my way over there. But just that feeling of being alone and traveling as so here's the thing. I wanted to, after reading the book Wild, I wanted to hike the Pacific Coast Trail.
Uh-huh.
And I was all about doing it by myself once I graduate college. And I'm still going to do it once I graduate college because I am back in there and slowly but surely we'll get there. But I was just something that I was like super comfortable doing. However, I forget that I am both very small and a woman, and it's not as easy for me to just go out into public by myself.
Right.
As awful as that is, that's just the way.
That's unfortunately reality. Unfortunately.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So getting the chance to be by myself in a like big city in a public place like that, I'm always very happy, very grateful, very in tune with myself, in touch with the world, and I felt probably what my happiest, just getting to stand in front of these tourist sites alone and getting to appreciate them, or it's a awful thought that women have to be accompanied by another person in public, or else, catcalling or awful things.
Yeah. So do you find taking that approach about getting out there early and kind of fine tuning it, when is a good time, is a good time, as soon as the light is starting to shine from the sun, is it just kind of find that right time and kind of tailoring it to the specific city that you're in?
Yeah, no, I since we're already talking about Seattle, I took a what do they call a red eye, where it's just straight, and I'm very good at sleeping in planes. So I wasn't too worried about sleep. So I took an overnight flight to Seattle, and as soon as I got out of the airport, and it was still dark, and I was very happy about that. Because as soon as I got to my destination, the sunrise was like super beautiful, and I got to see all these things. There was light out. People are both too tired to talk to you, and too busy and on the run to talk to you. So it's like the perfect time for myself to go out in public, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool. I admire that. That's kind of fun, and it's something that I'm honestly thinking about now. Is that's something to, because it is difficult sometimes to get out there and try to enjoy it when you're trying to bump elbows with people and try to get your enjoyment out of it without just so many people around.
Yeah, exactly, and I love talking to people, meeting new people, but as a true introvert that I am, I prefer to do a lot of things, by myself and being away from all of that tight jam-packedness.
Yeah. So true. What else kind of fun, interesting facts that maybe the listeners of RMP Radio might be entertained that you've got for them?
Ooh, let's see. Since it is spooky season, I am obsessed with haunted houses, mazes, and the likes. I am obsessed. before the pandemic, I went to something called Midsummer Scream, and it's this like horror convention, with like Elvira goes. Like it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a convention in Long Beach, and they announce basically like um, Halloween Horror Nights is doing this, and Knott's Berry Farm is doing this, and it's a huge event. And they have mazes there that are shorter, just so that you can get a taste of like what this company can do if you were like gonna be going out to their areas or their states. And it's really so much fun. I love the thrill. I love getting scared. I'm very easily scared if I'm just like out and about, but in a maze it's really hard to scare me because I'm already like super on alert.
On guard, yeah.
Yeah, on guard. But I love that adrenaline. I'm a huge roller coaster head too. So that's always super fun. Unfortunately, my friends don't really like roller coasters, so I'm always like waiting for my family, my siblings to go to these theme parks with, and they've been closed for a while, so I'm ready to go back.
Yeah. They've really been hurt this last 2 years or so.
Yeah, unfortunately. And I live not too far from one of these Six Flags that has like all these records that they've broken. So that was my first introduction to roller coasters. So I think I'm okay getting on any other random little roller coaster ride. But fun fact, even though I love animals, the humanitarian that I am, I love all things. But I'm terrified of reptiles.
Oh.
I hate that I'm scared of them, but I have this immediate flight or fight response, and it's so bad to the point where I can't even like look at a picture. I'll just get this like anxious feeling in my fingers, and it's so bad. It's a phobia. So in one of the mazes that I did go to in that horror convention right before COVID, I had bought a front of the line pass for me and the person that I went with. So I didn't really get to see the themes of any of the mazes. I would just go in and experience the next one, because I'm also, fun fact, impatient. So I remember going into this and taking a second to be like, wait, what is the theme of this? Getting pushed inside and just immediately being surrounded by snakes, because it was a snake maze. So I proceeded to yell at the top of my lungs, embarrassingly. But there was one scare actor there, so I ran to the scare actor and told him to just keep going, because I was more afraid of the snakes than I was of this person trying to scare me. So I just had the person that I was with lead the way. I was yelling, and then I got out of that maze. I'm trying to catch my breath. I am not okay. The creator of this maze comes out. He's like, I was watching from the back. I'm so glad you enjoyed that. I'm so happy. Here's a free t-shirt. And I was like, I don't know about enjoyed, but that was something on my phobia. But you know what? I'll take this shirt. So I keep that memory in the back of my head. So anytime I go into mazes now, I'm always on alert, because my phobia is getting worse and worse. So if there are any people out there that can help me get rid of this phobia, let me know.
Well, let me ask you about that. So you say the reptiles. Now, is it all reptiles, or is it more the quote unquote creepy ones that people would come top of mind? The snakes, the lizards, the bearded dragons, things of that nature, versus like, say, a happy little turtle.
See, I like turtles are cute. However, if they're turned around and I can actually see the turtle. Turtles are one of the like tamer ones. I still have that anxious feeling, but I don't feel like yelling. And then it gets worse because there's only a specific turtle I can handle. They get worse. I don't know if you've heard of like snake neck turtles or the turtles. They terrify me. So
yeah, they're a little weird looking. Yeah, I can understand that.
I can't really do all that. You know, I feel like here's another story. I in high school, I had a friend. He loved reptiles, and I didn't know I had a phobia. I was just, he would tell me about them and how he wanted to get this as a pet, whatever. I started doing my research, and we all like got him this reptile for his birthday, right? So I was like, yeah, I'll go get it. This place called Reptile Island, this store is by where I live. I'll just go pick it up. I walk in, and as soon as I walk in, from the ground all the way to the roof, there are cages and
aquariums.
enclosures.
Yeah.
So many different types of reptiles. And immediately I just feel myself go white. Like I feel like there's no blood in me. But because I'm also anxious with people, I was like, they can't know I'm terrified. So I just proceeded to walk and ask the person like, hi, I want this specific reptile. And can I get this for a temporary enclosure, this and that. So I get it. It was, I don't even remember what kind of reptile it was. And he puts it in a little plastic container, finished paying, and he's like, have a great day. And I'm nodding. I'm like, yeah, thank you. Can you put this creature inside my car for me, please? Because my body does not let me pick that thing up.
Yeah.
So he looks at me weird because he's probably like, why are you buying this if you're afraid of it? Put it in my car. I'm like, I just want to get this creature safe to the little surprise party that we're doing and get it out of my car. And the whole time I am panicking. And I feel like that's the day I realized that I was terrified of reptiles. Yeah. So
front seat, back seat?
Yeah.
Where did it go? Front seat, back seat?
I was just going to say, one day I hope that I get rid of this fear. But you know what? We'll take time.
So where did the reptile ride? Did it ride in the back seat or did it ride in the front seat?
Oh yeah, it was back seat. It was in the back seat. I was not gonna stare at it the whole time. And I made sure to drive slow though. I'm not an animal and I'm not bad. Like I'm not mean.
Right.
I wanted it to be comfortable. I just did not want it to get out and touch me. Which is crazy though, because I love bugs. Like I have a huge fascination with bugs, and I want to like learn more. And I want like a tarantula, but I found that a lot of people who are scared of bugs or spiders aren't afraid of reptiles, and it's like a lot of people who are afraid of reptiles are not afraid of bugs. So it's really crazy.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Do you have any irrational fears?
Clowns kind of freak me out a little bit.
Oh, okay.
sorry, Mr. Happy. But so yeah, so it just kind of just not like freaking out, but just kind of give me a little bit of uneasiness. So
uneasiness.
Yeah. So growing up, Ronald McDonald was, was like, yeah, I understand, yeah, but it's like, I know I don't really want to take my picture with you.
Like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah. And things like that. So Halloween is not, my favorite holiday. I like the candy, the candy that comes out, but not my favorite. And I kind of believe I'm kind of one of those people too. It's depending on what time of the year you get born, is kind of some of the things that you like or dislike. So since I was born in the spring, I think I have some trouble with things that are in the fall, like it getting dark earlier in the day. So starting to get dark, at 6 o'clock, and then when winter really comes, it gets dark at 4:30. So I do affect. I believe I'm one of those people that does get affected by sad seasonal affective disorder. So yeah, it just doesn't, it doesn't freak me out, but it's just more of just as like, just that uneasiness feeling that it just is like, I rather it be, light until 8 o'clock, I'm also one of those big proponents, like, because of that, I'm like, we gotta get rid of daylight savings time, because that really makes it worse,
Yeah, we're not all farmers now, so I mean, do we really need it?
Yeah, exactly. That was the reason why it got created. So I mean, do we? Yeah, exactly. Do we not need that, or do I need to move to Arizona? During when it gets when it changes, and then when it changes back, move back home. That kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean that's kind of the basics of it. Do have I think everybody does, but do have the fear of drowning in water. So
Yeah.
so
Interestingly enough, shout out to them too. I went to Southern California's 17th store. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
It's like this quote unquote extreme haunted house where they can like get up in your face, and they can touch you, and they shaved my brother's hair.
Oh God.
So it's like a little it's extreme. But one of the rooms is basically to what's the word I'm looking for? To aim for, for lack of a better word, scaring the people who are afraid of drowning. And so, not to give too much away about the whole experience, because it's so amazing and I had so much fun. They put you in a basically tube, and it tilts, and you kind of get dipped underwater for 5 seconds. But you don't know this, in the whole experience. You're there, and you're trying to get this door unlocked, and you're trying to keep going, and adrenaline's rushing, and then water starts filling up. So if I definitely was afraid of the water drowning, I would have panicked. But it's such a interesting thing that they put in that they didn't have last year, that my at any point in any of the rooms, you're allowed to say mercy, because it is an extreme an extreme haunted house.
Yeah.
You could say mercy, and they'll just either lead you to the next door, or they'll just try to back off from you and go to the other people in your group. And it's just your group in there. So out of the 6 or 7 people that went with us in our group, it was only me and my sister who were okay with going into that tube that dipped underwater. And I was like, why didn't anybody else join us? Yeah, I ended up with the top half of my outfit all drenched in water, but they were like, no, I'm terrified of drowning. I would not want to do this. But that maze is insane. That experience is insane and so much fun. Though you do get, maybe a couple times, though you do get tased, it's just a lot of adrenaline-filled fun after that.
Do you have to sign a waiver to go to this thing?
Yes,
this thing? I bet you do.
Have to sign a waiver. The waiver is be prepared to have. Oh wait! Oh my gosh! I have the waiver here. Hold on. I wanna see the thing that it said, that I was just like, what? It said something like you might be basically like you can maybe you can die, but you're signing away that. And I was like, wow, that's terrifying. Let's
Yeah.
do it. There's a lot of crazy things I would love to do and still haven't done.
When's the last time you got into this? Sorry.
Oh, to got me into this?
No. When's the last time you went to this particular haunted house?
Oh, this haunted house I went to just this last week, 15th of October. Yeah.
To this one?
Yeah.
Wow.
This extreme one. Yeah. The first. See, my mistake was, Let me just give you. Have you ever seen this specific episode of The Simpsons called Shock Therapy?
Maybe.
They're basically like all sitting around in chairs together, like in a circle, and shocking each other.
Okay.
And that is my favorite room that they put to life, and everybody in your group gets to be in an electric chair, basically.
Uh-huh.
It's strapped in like a roller coaster, and it counts down, and you have to choose somebody out of the group, and the more people who choose you, the stronger the shock. And it is so intense to look at my sister in the eyes and choose her number just to find out she also chose me to get electrocuted. And it is fun. I know it all sounds like a bunch of torture, but it's adrenaline filled fun, and I am so happy that they put this on. I'm just crazy and always want to try these out. I'm not saying I'm brave. Like, yeah, of course I scream. That's the happiness of it.
That's just fascinating. So hey, that just kind of reminded me of if you would indulge me, like a controversial subject, and I don't know if you've seen this. It happened a few weeks ago. And this kind of reminded me because you signed a waiver and you said the actors are able to touch the participants, the people that go into the corn maze and things like that. But on the flip side of that, and I'd like to really get your perspective on this as a female, because we were kind of talking about. But have you seen the story about the Prince Charming at one of the Walt Disney World or Land or whichever one, that it was the not okay as the touching, the guest was touching the actor. Did you see that whole story?
Yeah. Was it Gaston? I think I've seen one with Gaston.
Oh yeah, maybe it was Gaston. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, I was thinking, for some reason I was thinking Prince Charming, but yeah, it was Gaston. Yeah,
the guest was touching the actor playing Gaston. Correct?
Yeah, and it was then that was that kind of brought up the whole thing about unwanted things like that. And what's your take on it? And especially like I said, being a woman, and like what we just were kind of talking about, and and they just kind of brought that up. It just was kind of the like I said, an ad hoc conversation that we could have here.
No, yeah, so here's the thing. I believe that everybody should have their own, like, it is their body. So whatever they believe, whatever they're comfortable with, that's the word I was looking for. They should be vocal about what they're comfortable with. And I think it's sometimes hard for women to understand that sometimes the roles are switched, and men don't like being touched. However beautiful you are, some people aren't comfortable with that. And I think it's just a matter of like, hey, this is my job. I'm working. I didn't ask to get, felt up.
Yeah.
I didn't ask to get my chest felt up by some stranger. So I'm going to politely ask you to go in character because I feel uncomfortable right now. And I find that I think there's nothing wrong with what he did. I don't think the guest has a right over to somebody's body, whether it be like some small, thing that it may seem to you. Maybe it made that person uncomfortable. So I like to think of like, okay, if I was in his shoes, their shoes, and I was put into that situation, I would definitely not be happy about that. This brings me around. In this Micromania tour, we do have shows that are in bars a lot. And everybody takes care of everybody there. It is a really good environment to be in.
Right.
And of course, even in regular pro wrestling shows, you have the occasional person who's wants to be dumb and tries to get into the ring. Like we protect everybody from that. And I found that I wrestle with a lot of men, of course, that they're uncomfortable with a lot of women who go up to them and try to be handsy, because it's not something that they necessarily want in their daily life. Like they're performing, they're putting on a show, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they want somebody to go up to them and put their hands on them. So now I feel like society is more comfortable with allowing men to express themselves,
right,
and allowing men to have this open conversation, and not just be quote unquote manly and take everything, you know. I feel like it's a lot healthier.
Right. Yeah, it brings up the thing basically overall to that, you know, this is a conversation that we as a society should have. And you know, where is initial consent, where is initiation, who is when it comes to two people like this, you know, who initiates it, how do you have the conversation, how do you get the vibe from somebody else that's okay to give them a high five or give them a hug, you know, things of that nature. You know, when somebody you know or don't know, or you know how well you do know that person, you know, like you said, for example, in the wrestling community, the people that work for, you know, the wrestling companies, you know, we all kind of know each other real well, and you know, there's a different kind of already assumed, you know, of, you know, how we're going to interact with everybody, you know, like you mentioned before, you know, usually when you get to a show for the night, you know, as you're meeting everybody, you know, you're passing everybody, you give them a handshake or a hi or that kind of stuff, and then usually where you're wrapping up at the end of the night, as you're leaving, you try to say bye to as many people as you can and not do the quote unquote Irish goodbye that's been kind of going along with the Rocky Mountain Pro storyline right now, but you know, it's so yeah, it's very interesting. And I like I said, you just kind of mentioned that with the haunted house, and I was just kind of curious what you thought about that thing.
I think it's more so less of a problem of consent now, because I feel like people are being a little bit more vocal. I think the problem is more so people being comfortable hearing no. I think now that even women are now hearing like, no, I'm not comfortable with this. We as a society need to learn how to respect that. People might not be even something small, like people might not be comfortable right now shaking another person's hand, whether it be because of the pandemic or any other situation. I'm not going to get offended if somebody just doesn't want to give me their hand in a handshake, or doesn't want to give me you know, a hug, because it is a matter of what they feel comfortable with, and you yourself being comfortable with accepting this no. That I don't really want to use that word, accepting. Feeling comfortable listening, because it's a matter of, is this person going to listen? And they should, because this is what I want and this is my body, so I'm going to say no, and they should, in theory, politely back away.
Right.
But unfortunately, it doesn't always work that way, and so I think as a society we have to work on that, accepting and then accepting rejection. Because you should be comfortable with that.
Right. And you know, if that does happen, don't be the how dare you, you know, reject me, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I was just kind of curious, since it kind of came up, and you know, kind of a, you know, like hard-hitting conversation we can have here on RMP radio a little bit too. So definitely. Yeah, we got to sometimes talk about the hard things, because it's a society. It's something that we do encounter in the wacky world of professional wrestling as well. There's been, you know, a lot of things that have you know, that come up every once in a while, kind of peaks and
Yeah.
valleys, like kind of roller coasters every once in a while, to use
Yeah.
a thing that we just kind of talked about a little bit.
Yeah, and since I do have this platform, I would love to use it, to keep talking,
Yeah.
because it's definitely hard, and as it's hard for men and it's hard for women, and on that note, like the wrestling business for women is in the indies
Yeah.
is very, it can get very controversial, and it's very rough, and it's very
Right.
hard. I myself, I love being nice to anybody I come encounter with, but unfortunately that's come to, even being nice, and not just myself, but a lot of other women in this business can get talked about and in a very negative manner.
Yeah.
And so you have these terms that, when I first learned about the term, when I first started wrestling, you have these terms like a ring rat, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's a very degrading term, and that's not okay. And
Yeah.
and I was explained the term, and that because the industry is primarily male, like it's just the way they talk, and I feel like it's starting to change. We have people who are a lot more respectful and understanding and comfortable with working alongside women. But that's not to say we also have people who are intimidated or don't like working alongside women, or just used to treating women in this manner.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, we're the way I see it now is that we're in a transition period where you have so many people, so many men, so many women, and non-binary in between in the wrestling business, who have so many different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're trying to mesh now. It's not, nobody's comfortable just doing it one way. People are checking each other. People are, supporting each other, and so it's getting better in this business, and little by little I feel like we're growing. Like each locker room isn't going to be toxic to a new stranger who wants to wrestle now. Like the environments are consistently getting better now that everybody's open and willing to talk, and being comfortable. But that's not to say there's probably other locker rooms who are the complete opposite. But there's such a big mesh of people, and I'm also only a year in, so who knows?
Yeah. Would you also say too, and this, it kind of goes along, does a good parallel for the wrestling. It's finding those people that you can be a quote unquote partner with, to make things better. Groups of people partnering together, making things better, being able to make the society, make the community, make the close knit family in these particular situations better. And then also too, on the flip side too, the best thing to do is never believe something that you hear third hand. Try to get it directly from a source, and not be the story has been a couple steps down the quote unquote the cliche of the game of telephone. Make sure it's not 4 or 5 calls later. It's actually one call, or at the most maybe 2 calls later, so the story is correct, and things of that nature.
Yeah, no, most definitely, of course. And I'm happy that in both in Colorado and here in California, have had the amazing opportunity to meet such wonderful and genuine people, to get me through those people who are not as wonderful and genuine. I'm super grateful. Like Lilith Grimm, though she beats the pulp out of me in the ring, she is an amazing person.
Yeah.
And her wisdom when it came to wrestling, and learning how to be in a locker room and talk to people and whatnot, and not just being in a locker room, but being in a women's locker room.
Yeah.
Going through those, and learning how to the best way to support other women when it comes to being new, and and getting through that. Like, I'm super grateful that I got to start and have her as my guide. So I'd love to come back one day and show her all the growth that I've learned so that I won't get demolished in the ring.
Yeah, and I've had working with what I do in the business and with Rocky Mountain Pro, things like that. I've actually had some interesting conversations and great conversations with Lilith, breaking the kayfabe, that you're like, wow, I had a conversation with so and so, and I can't believe I had that conversation with so and so. Totally unexpected.
Yeah, exactly, and it's. The craziness is that we put out such different personalities when we're performing, we're on stage, we're wrestling, we're throwing people, we're trying to be either a melodramatic self or a complete new character, is what I like to think of it as. Like I like to think that I'm not as annoying in real life, but in a good way.
Yeah, I get you.
Jem is definitely super hyper, and I appreciate everything that I've got to do because I've had a little bit of Jem inside me.
So true. So speaking of that, and you said, you mentioned that you'd like to show Lilith of some of how you've grown. Will we possibly be seeing you probably towards the end of this month here at Rocky Mountain Pro, or?
Yeah, you might be able to catch me at Rocky Mountain Pro. Unfortunately, not Shocktober, but October we still have another show.
Yeah.
The 29th at in Colorado. I will be there, and y'all can catch me, and y'all can yell at me and cheer at me and high five me.
Fantastic. Well, and speaking of that, if they wanted to just get reminded of you, maybe they might want to follow you out there on the social medias, and if so, where can they do that?
Oh, yes, of course, because even if you're just tuning in on Twitch to the Colorado Rocky Mountain Pro and my matches, you can also find me at a state near you, maybe in a city near you. On Instagram, you can find those flyers, Gemini .cx. Or if you want to catch my streams and my Twitch, I will be starting back up again because I am back from tour, so I'm super excited. You can catch those streams at Gemini CX. And then, of course, Facebook, I am Gemini. You can find me on there. Or if you see me on the street and look down and get to see my face, then do say hi.
Fantastic. I hope people do that for you. So thanks once again for doing this, and definitely we'll be seeing you, and I'll be seeing you there at the Bierstadt Lagerhaus show on the 29th.
Yeah, thank you. This was a lot of fun and such a great conversation. So hopefully we can do this again and just get back on.
Once again, a big, huge thank you to Gemini for coming on to this edition of RMP Radio and letting the listeners get a little glimpse of things that she does outside of the wrestling ring, things that she's done, things that interest her in, like a whole gambit of things. It was such a fun conversation with her. I truly enjoyed it. Well, before we get out of here, let's pay some bills like they used to say back in the day. Want to get some merchandise of your favorite Rocky Mountain Pro superstars? Head over to the rmpwrestling.com website, click on that merch link, or if you're in the Amazon.com or the Amazon app, search for Rocky Mountain Pro. You'll get lots of things you can choose from there, and would be greatly appreciated if you can do that. Additionally, hit up your favorite Rocky Mountain Pro superstars. See if they've got a Pro Wrestling Tees, Brainbuster Tees, Big Cardell, What a Maneuver, and many, many other websites that you can just purchase right from there. And then, as always, hit up the merch table at the shows that they are at. They may have some show exclusives that you can only get there. Upcoming events, like we were talking about here this entire week, we got Shocktober weekend starting on Friday at Bierstadt Lagerhaus. This is a free event, so in lieu of having to pay for tickets, would appreciate you if you can patronize Bierstadt Lagerhaus with food, refreshments, and also hit up the merch table there. Support your Rocky Mountain Pro superstars there. Then on Saturday, we've got the big one, the Shocktober, happening from the Stanley Marketplace over in the Aurora area. Tickets for that, you can get those at Rocky Mountain Pro's website at RMP Wrestling. And of course, remember that VIP you can get access to, which is an hour before the show. In the meantime, after you're done listening to this, head over to twitch.tv/Rocky Mountain Pro. Catch all those episodes. Subscribe. We'd be greatly appreciated. Remember, if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber, you do get a Twitch subscription in that membership. If you are not an Amazon Prime subscriber, which who the heck isn't, but if you've already got yours tied up, it's a nominal fee, just like a cup of coffee, so like $5.99 a month. Also, visit us on our web, youtube.com/Rocky Mountain Pro. You can see those episodes there, broken down into individual episodic numbers. That would be greatly appreciated if you could do that as well. And then remember also, everything can also be seen on the Fight TV platform, fight.tv, on your mobile apps for Fight, as well as on the Roku. And follow us out there on the interwebs. Start at rmpwrestling.com, and then on the socials of the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, all of the Rocky MTN Pro, phonetically. Once again, spell that for you. That is the Rocky Mike Tango November Pro. Thank you as always for listening to RMP Radio, where pro wrestling is elevated.